For nearly 30 years, Hollywood kept getting Mario wrong. One of the most famous characters ever created, and somehow every adaptation just didn't work. Then, in 2023, something unexpected happened. The Super Mario Bros. Movie didn't just succeed, it completely dominated the box office, won over families, divided critics, and proved that Nintendo might finally understand how to turn video games into movies better than Hollywood itself. But here's the real question. Is this actually a great movie, or are we just happy Mario finally got a win? Today we're going deep into the animation, the story, the fan service, the controversy, and why this film might secretly change the video game movies forever. Welcome back to Popcorn Pistols, the channel where we talk about movies, break down film history, and sometimes ask the questions nobody else is asking. Because movies aren't just entertainment, they're moments, they're nostalgia, and sometimes they're cultural events. And few characters are bigger than Mario. From pixelated beginnings in arcades to becoming the face of gaming itself, Mario has survived decades of gaming trends, but Hollywood has never quite known what to do with him. Until 2023, with Illumination teaming up with Nintendo, expectations were sky high. Fans were nervous and critics weren't entirely convinced. So today we're looking back at the Super Mario Bros. Movie, not just as a hit movie, but as a turning point for video game adaptations. Does it actually work as a film? Why did the audience love it so much? And what does its success mean for the future of gaming movies? Let's get into it. Before we dive into the 2023 film, we need to understand why making a Mario movie is basically impossible. Mario isn't a character with a detailed backstory. He doesn't have emotional arcs like Harry Potter or Batman. He's a plumber. He jumps, he saves the princess, that's it. His personality is mostly defined by gameplay and imagination. So when Hollywood first tried in 1993, well, that didn't go so well. The live-action Super Mario Bros. Movie was bizarre, dark, and frankly confusing. Fans still talk about it as a cautionary tale, how to get it completely wrong. Fast forward 30 years and the stakes are completely different. Nintendo is protective, Illumination is in charge of animation, and audiences are scarier than ever. Everyone wants the film to be perfect, but perfection is impossible when your source material is basically a set of jumping mechanics, which is why the success of the 2023 film isn't just luck. It's calculated, intentional, and maybe even a little miraculous. But it also raises an important question. What does it take to turn a video game character into a cinematic hero? That's what we're going to unpack in this video, from animation and world building to character development and fan service. And trust me, the details here make all the difference. Okay, now let's talk about what really makes the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2023 shine. The animation and the world building. This is where the movie goes from being just another adaptation to something truly special. First off, the Mushroom Kingdom. Everything about it screams Mario. The colours, the architecture, even the way the characters move through the world feels like a playable level. From Princess Peach's castle to the warp pipes, every corner is full of recognisable details the fans have loved for decades. And it's not just fan service, the environments feel alive. You get a sense of scale, depth and energy that make the world feel bigger than the screen. It's the kind of animation that makes you forget you're watching a movie. It feels like stepping into the game itself. The designers made a smart choice. They didn't overcomplicate the visuals. Each location is clear, vibrant, and instantly readable. Just like a game level, you know where to look, what's important, and what's coming next. Even the characters' designs are perfect. Mario and Luigi feel familiar, but cinematic. Bowser is massive, intimidating, but also has personality in every facial expression. And Princess Peach, she's regal, confident, and fully integrated into this animated world, rather than just a background figure. The pacing of the world building is also genius. Scenes move quickly, but you never feel lost. The movie constantly rewards fans with tiny Easter eggs, references, and little touches without making the story confusing for newcomers. That's a hard balance to hit, and it's the one reason the movie works so well for both fans and casual viewers. In short, the animation doesn't just tell the story, it is the story. And in a movie about a character who's always been about visual movement and gameplay, that's exactly what you want. Now let's talk about the heart of the movie, Mario and Luigi. These two have been around for decades, but in the film, they're more than just game avatars. They are real characters with arcs, struggles, and personalities. Mario starts the film as the classic underdog. He's enthusiastic, brave, and always ready to jump in, but he's also inexperienced and uncertain about what he can actually do. Watching him grow into the hero we know and love gives the movie a surprisingly solid emotional core. Luigi, on the other hand, is where the emotional weight lives. He's cautious, fearful, and constantly questioning himself. That vulnerability makes his moments of courage feel earned. When he finally steps up, it actually hits emotionally, which is a rare thing in video game adaptations. And the chemistry between the brothers is spot on. Their interactions are funny, relatable, and occasionally heartfelt. Unlike in the games, where dialogue is minimal, the film gives them a real dynamic, teasing, arguing, supporting each other, and that makes the story feel grounded. What's clever is that their growth mirrors gameplay logic. Mario learns to master his environment and power-ups, while Luigi learns to overcome fear and trust himself. The narrative translates game mechanics into emotional beats, which keeps the story connected to its roots without being silly. By giving both brothers distinct personalities and arcs, the movie actually manages to make you care about them, and that's huge for a franchise that's always been more about fun than feelings. Now let's talk about Princess Peach, and honestly, she might be the biggest upgrade in the entire movie. In the games, Peach is usually the one being rescued. She's important, but she rarely drives the story herself. In the 2023 film, that changes completely. Peach is confident, capable, and already a leader when we meet her. She's not just waiting for Mario to save her. She has her own goals, strategies, and moments of influence. That shift gives the story a lot more depth than most video game movies manage. But here's the smart part. She's not written as perfect or infallible. She makes mistakes, she struggles, and she genuinely believes in Mario before he believes in himself. That dynamic is what gives the film its emotional weight and makes her interactions with Mario and Luigi feel meaningful. Visually, Peach is stunning too. Her design keeps her iconic look, but adds subtle realism, expressions, movement, and posture all convey authority and warmth. It's clear the animators wanted her to feel like a real presence in the Mushroom Kingdom rather than just a trophy. And thematically, Peach serves as the audience's guide to the world. She helps both Mario and the viewers navigate the chaos, giving context to the Mushroom Kingdom while keeping the story moving. By upgrading Peach without breaking her identity, the film not only modernizes a classic character, but also reinforces one of the biggest reasons this adaptation works. Respect for the source material paired with thoughtful improvements. But it's now time to talk about Bowser. Because if there's one character who absolutely steals the show, it's him. Bowser isn't just the big bad villain. He's funny, intimidating, and somehow emotional. Yes, emotional. The film strikes a perfect balance between making him a credible threat and giving him moments of humour that actually land. The voice performance adds so much to this. Every line is delivered with personality, timing, and a hint of self-awareness. You laugh, you get nervous, and most importantly, you feel like Bowser is more than just a giant spiky turtle. And his motivation is simple: love, ego, and desire to win. It's not overly complicated, but that simplicity works perfectly for the Mario universe. He doesn't need a deep backstory, he needs to feel like the right kind of obstacle for Mario, and the film nails that. The design also helps. Bowser is massive and imposing, but his expressions and dynamics, frustration, triumph, and even occasional vulnerability, it makes him more than a one-note villain and adds real stakes to the story. Plus, the interactions between Bowser and the other characters are hilarious. Every scene with him raises the energy of the movie, and honestly, you end up enjoying his presence as much as, if not more, than Mario and Luigi. If you think about it, Bowser embodies exactly why this adaptation works. It respects the source material while giving every character enough depth and personality to make the world feel alive. Without Bowser, the film wouldn't have nearly the same energy or charm. Now let's talk about one of the smartest parts of the Super Mario Bros. The music and how it taps into nostalgia. From the very first notes, you can hear the classic Mario themes woven into the score. These aren't just background tracks, they're carefully timed to evoke memories for anyone who grew up playing the games. But here's the key, it doesn't overdo it. Instead of hammering in references every second, the music appears in moments that actually matter. When Mario jumps, when Bowser appears, or when the stakes get high, it reinforces emotion rather than distracting from the story. And it's not just the music, it's the little visual and audio Easter eggs too. The warp pipes, the coins, the Goombas, they're all in there, but they're used in ways that feel natural. You're not being hit over the head with nostalgia, you're being rewarded for paying attention. That's why the film works for multiple audiences. Kids get a fun, colourful adventure, adults and long-time gamers get the subtle nods to the source material, and that blend is hard to achieve. The nostalgia factor also makes the movie rewatchable even after the first viewing. You start noticing little details, musical cues, and references you missed. That keeps fans engaged and makes this movie a conversation starter, which is exactly what Illumination and Nintendo wanted. So while Bowser and the story get the headlines, it's really the combination of music, visuals, and the subtle game references that elevate the movie from a simple adaptation to something memorable. Okay, now it's time to talk about the one thing that some viewers might see as a problem: the pacing. The Super Mario Bros. Movie moves incredibly fast. There's constant action, quick scene changes, and tons of visual information. Some people might feel like the character moments are a bit rushed. For example, Mario and Luigi's relationship develops quickly. You get the emotional beats, you feel the brotherly tension, fear and growth, but some moments could have used a little more breathing room. You almost wish there were a few extra minutes to linger on the certain interactions. But here's the interesting thing: the speed actually works in the movie's favour. Mario games themselves are fast, energetic, and constantly pushing the player forward. Translating that into a movie means keeping the momentum high, and the film does exactly that. So while some critics might call it rushed, I'd argue it's intentionally mirroring gameplay logic. The quick pacing makes the film exciting, fun, and rewatchable. You're never bored, and every scene feels like it has a purpose, even if it moves faster than a traditional story might. Essentially, the movie sacrifices a bit of emotional depth in a few spots for consistent energy and engagement, and in a Mario movie that trade-off actually makes sense.